SimLicy here, so welcome to another speed build, and today I am building a restaurant, which I haven't done in such a long time, and I've really been wanting to do more community lots lately because I really enjoy building them, and I've had an idea to build a restaurant for some time, and I was just kind of randomly building on one of these lots here in Brittle Bay. I believe this is the neighborhood of Whiskerman's Wharf, I believe, and yeah, I came up with this sort of rundown building that is been renovated into a restaurant, which I thought would be a lot of fun, so I tried to make it look a little bit more dingy and run down, like this building's been repurposed over and over again, like maybe it was once a store, maybe it was once a house, maybe it was once a factory, and now it is Salty's, which I thought was a super cute name. I did do a Google search for like seafood restaurant names, and I didn't want one that sounded very fancy. I wanted one that sounded kind of fun and silly and would suit kind of this like Crab Shack type of vibe, and I thought that was a cute name for it, so I hope you guys do like it too, and I hope you guys do like the way this build turns out. I had a lot of fun building it and had so much fun just kind of making it look a little bit more run down and mismatched. Like you will notice when I get to all the dining tables and the dining chairs, they are all kind of mismatched. Some of them do repeat themselves, but they are not in any particular order, and they're kind of all over the place, which I had a lot of fun doing, and I think it adds so much character to this restaurant. And I did play test it as well. I had a sim visit here as like a guest, I guess you could call it, and she got her food like super fast and everything seemed to run perfectly fine. And then to take the screenshots, I did have her actually buy the restaurant, and I didn't really fully play test it running it like as a restaurant because I thought that would just take way too long. But yeah, everything did seem to run pretty smoothly for a restaurant anyways, so hopefully you guys, if you download it, won't have any problems, but it seemed to be a pretty functional lot, which I'm very happy about. I tried to not make it overly crowded or have too many little knickknacks and decorations in the way to make it kind of a struggle, because I know restaurants can be kind of a pain in The Sims, and yeah, I didn't want it to be a difficult lot to plan. I wanted it to be lots of fun, and I did really enjoy it, and I hope you guys will like it too. Really looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say about this build. Oh, and what is this crazy tile thing? Oh my goodness, I've had that glitch before, but when I've had it in the past, I couldn't get it to go back to normal. So this time I was able to just keep spreading the tiles out, and eventually they were getting off the lot. It was super weird. So hopefully that doesn't stay around for too long, but at least I was able to have the tiles, like, I was able to fix it, because when I've had that glitch before, it's been on the 50 by 50 lot in Willow Creek, I believe is where I've had that. And yeah, pretty much once the tile is gone, it's like impossible to get it back. So yeah, really happy that it wasn't too difficult to fix. And at this point, I wanted to add some sort of decoration to the roof. I felt like it looked a little bit bland because I was going for this very asymmetrical roof shape where it's kind of an interesting shape. I saw a picture on probably Pinterest, I'm pretty sure that's where it was, of this old building, and I think it was actually a lighthouse, and so I took some characteristics from that and just got rid of the lighthouse part, and it had this sort of interesting shape to it, so that's where I got that idea from, and I think it looks really cool. And out here on the little deck, I really wanted to hang up these little buoys and strings on the railing, but they just weren't the right size, and I couldn't shrink them down, or I could shrink them down, but I couldn't raise them down with the 0 key, right? Is that how you do it? Yeah, and so I just decided not to in the end, but out here is going to be where the bar is. So I was going to say you can run this as a bar, but you will have to add a television, because for whatever reason in The Sims, it requires you to have a television when you run a bar, or have a bar. So yeah, I don't really like that, because I feel like the TVs are really distracting when you go visit a restaurant or a bar. So I did build a basement, and I was going to throw a TV down there, but I was like, I feel like that's going to look a little bit weird, and I feel like in my game, I'll just have this as a restaurant. So if you prefer bars over restaurants, just put a TV in the basement if you don't like your Sims watching TV while you are trying to play. I don't know, I feel like it's very distracting, and they just watch the TV, and you're like, no, interact and get a drink and socialize and do all those other kinds of things, and they're like, no, I'm gonna watch the TV, but it's like, no, you can do that at home. But anyway, so I'm just getting this sort of all shaped out where I want the dining areas to be, how big I'm gonna have the decks, and kind of how it's all gonna be laid out. So I did kind of mess with it for a while. I did cut out some of it, and you know, I really wish they would have given us a matching floor plank, to these docks, because it is very irritating that the only thing that we have even close to looking as like rugged and plinky is the flooring from Spooky Stuff, which is great for that type of flooring, but it doesn't necessarily match. So I really wish they would do something about that. It's very frustrating because you can't make it look seamless. Like, it just doesn't seamlessly blend into the world, which I don't really like. But so at this point, I'm picking out all my random chairs, and I didn't like the one short bar stool. I wanted them all to have like the high backs. So 2 of them are the same chair, just in 2 different colors. And then here I am just pulling out different kind of more rustic-y looking chairs. They're not all rustic-y, some are a little bit more fancy, but yeah, just kind of trying to make them look all mismatched and kind of paired together in no particular way. I wanted it to look as random as possible. So I had a lot of fun with that because I normally don't do mismatched chairs. I know some people do that in their like regular builds, like in their family homes, at their dining tables. Sometimes they'll do mismatched colors and stuff, and I don't think I've ever done that. So I had a lot of fun doing that in this build, and I think it suited it really nicely. And yeah, as for the rest of the exterior, I do a couple of these little potted plants. Oh, and I do get that giant anchor outside, which I thought was really cool. And I do end up adding this extra little roof piece right here on this, I don't know what you call it. It's this little piece that sticks out, but I thought it made the building look a little bit more interesting, and I ended up doing it on the opposite side as well. And then back there is where I have the garbage cans. And then other than that, I do put some of those like boxes that came with cats and dogs that are, I guess, for cats to climb on, but I sized them down, and I noticed when I was playtesting it that the cats were kind of floating in the air, so I did size them up before completing the build. So it may look a little bit differently when you do download it. I still have to upload it to the gallery, so I'm going to write myself a note once I'm done doing this voiceover, then I will upload it to the gallery, and you guys can download it under the probably Salty's Crab Shack. You can download it under that name, and yeah, hopefully you guys will have a lot of fun playing with it in your game. And I didn't restrict myself on any packs, so just so you guys know, but the main packs are definitely cats and dogs and dine out, since it is a restaurant. If you don't have some of stuffed packs, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Those are the 2 main packs, and I had a lot of fun using those little crab signs. I thought they were so super cute. And on this far left side of the building, I end up putting a little sticker sort of wall decal that has an anchor on it. Oh, and I had a lot of fun decorating this little bar top with different little statues and candles, and I think I get a rooster up there. I get the anchor, or not the anchor, the steering wheel to the boat. What is that called? It's called a helm? I'm not really sure what that's called. So I just looked it up. Yes, it is a helm according to Google. So yeah, I got that up there, as well as that little duck statue, which I think is super, super cute. And then the little candle, and yeah, I thought that was kind of fun and added a bit of character to it. And yeah, I think we are about done with the exterior, and then I do leave in all of, I think, the interior floor planning. I don't think I cut any of it out. It's pretty simple. The downstairs doesn't have any dining. It's just the bathrooms, the entryway, and the kitchen, and then the upstairs there is some dining with the balcony as well. And I did kind of struggle with this kitchen. I really wanted to fit 2 of these little chef stations in here, because I wanted there to be able to have 2 cooks. That way, if you did want to run the restaurant, you could have like enough food being put out. I felt like that was a pretty good number of chef stations for this size of restaurant, because it's not a super large one, but I didn't think that 1 would really be enough if you wanted to have like it fully staffed with people. Oh, and I did dress the people for that work at the restaurant, the staff, and I think I mostly dressed them in laundry day clothes. So you can, of course, change that up to whatever you want, and I did customize the menu to be mostly seafood, nothing too fancy, and there's a few desserts and some drinks and stuff. So yeah, that'll all be customized if you just decide to download this build. And then I do a little kind of gated in area here at the back with the trash cans, and that all seemed to work fine. Even though it is a little bit crowded, you should have no problems with that. And I really wanted to use this sort of pantry shelving, but I just did not have the space for it, so I don't end up using it in the end. And then I was going to do some sort of interesting structure here to separate the spaces, but I decided I didn't really like the way it looked. But I did also do mismatched lights hanging from the ceiling, which I thought was a bit of fun. Some of them might be hanging down too low. I noticed a little bit when I was taking screenshots. So if they bother you, can of course replace them with other lights. But yeah, for now we are decorating the kitchen, and I just do some cabinets and a fridge. Even though the fridge isn't necessary for a restaurant, I feel like it makes sense to have one because you need somewhere for food to stay cold. And so I don't know why you wouldn't have a refrigerator and why that wouldn't be a requirement. So I add them anyways because I feel like they are necessary. And yeah, other than that, I just sort of add little food, little knickknacks around, some knives and other little decorations. And I also put the little bulletin board with some of the postcards above the sink. I thought that was kind of a cute little decoration. I don't really know why they would have it in the restaurant or in the kitchen, but I thought it looked cute, so I added it anyhow. And then at the end of the build, I do go through the debug menu, and I add some of those bird feather pictures that came with cats and dogs and hung them up everywhere. So I thought that was pretty cute. I really wanted it to blend into the world of Brindleton Bay. I know I build here a lot, but I really love the style, and I have so much fun with the coastal theme. But I do have some more builds coming up soon. I have some in Willow Creek and some on the Windenburg Island, which I'm very excited to share with you guys, the Windenburg Island ones, because they are totally different than any builds I've ever done. I mentioned them in my last build, and I was talking about how they are modern extension builds, and so they're kind of like old cottages. I built 2 of them. I want to fill up like the whole island with it. I think that would be super cool and have them all match to look like renovated old cottages. So I'm very excited to share those with you guys. I have both of them finished now. I just need to edit the footage and take screenshots and do the voiceovers, of course. So hopefully later this week I will have at least one of them out for you guys, depending on how much I have to work and stuff like that. But very excited to share. I mean, they're probably not going to be everybody's cup of tea because they're kind of strange, since I really tried to merge modern and traditional together. I don't know. We'll get to it when we get to it. I won't talk about it too much more in this build, but I had a lot of fun doing it, and I feel like it's so different than anything I've done before. So really excited for that. But anyways, at this point, I did switch around the bathroom layout a little bit. I thought it was kind of odd to have the bathroom entry over by the kitchen. I felt like maybe every time somebody was going to the bathroom, they wouldn't want to walk in front of the kitchen, and it's probably not that big of a deal, but I decided to have the entryway behind the stairs over by the outdoor deck area. Maybe it makes more sense to have it closer to the deck. And it's a very blue and white bathroom. It looks super nautical. I think it is so adorable. It doesn't really match the rest of the build because it's quite clean in here, I think, but I really do like it. So yeah, hopefully you guys will like it as well. And I didn't overly decorate it. There's just like one little plant, and I did put the little soap dispensers and the hand towel dispensers up on the wall, and then in the bathroom I just hung these little steering wheels or helms up on the wall as just a little bit of decoration. And at this point, I was not sure where to put the hostess station. And something I was thinking about while I was playtesting this build, I wish when you set the like clothing restrictions for the lot, you know how you can, or requirements, how you can have the Sims come in their everyday wear, I think any of their wear, their formal party, right? Can you do sleep and athletic? I think you can. I wish it changed the way the food was delivered, because it's always delivered on a very fancy platter, and I didn't really like that too much for this build because it's not the type of place where you would get your clam chowder served to you on a sparkling silver platter. I thought that's a bit silly, so I would love them like to add an update where that would change as well. Like if it was just served out on like a wooden block, you have some way for your Sims to hold it, maybe even if it was just the plate itself. I kind of wish they would have thought about that a little bit more in Dine Out. And I know I've mentioned this before if you've been around for a while, but I would love to see them add the clothing options for other community lots as well. So you could have more upscale lounges or more relaxed looking lounges and have your Sims dress appropriately for those places. I think would look so cool. Or, higher class bars where your Sims wear their formal wear, or just regular bars where your Sims wear their everyday clothes, or more of like a nightclub and your Sims would wear their party clothes. I just think that would be such a cool update, and I don't imagine it would be that hard for the Sims team to implement, because I don't imagine they would have to require you to own Dine Out to have that option. Maybe they would, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I think that's something cool to think about. But anyways, this downstairs area is coming together. I really wanted to add this fish tank, so I'm kind of working around it to add the other decorations. and I think it comes out really cute in the end. There's a couple little seating areas in case you are waiting to be served or to get your table, or maybe you're grabbing food to go, even though I don't really think that's a thing. Just thought it'd be nice to have a couple little seating areas, and I didn't really imagine that it would make much sense to have dining down here since it's all just by the kitchen and the hostess. And I know if I were going to a restaurant and I got a table and it was just right next to the hostess station, and every time somebody was coming in to get a table, I feel like that'd be kind of distracting and a little bit annoying. So I just did all of the seating other places, which hopefully you guys don't mind that. You could of course add more tables if you need it downstairs, but I imagine that there's plenty of tables and you shouldn't need any more. But oh, something I wanted to point out is I really enjoyed layering those old time curtains with like the modern sheer curtains. I thought they layered really nicely and looked pretty cool together. So you guys will have to let me know what you guys think about that. And also later on towards the end of the video, I do go through and add decorations to each one of the tables. All of the tables that are outside have either a candle or lantern of some sort on them, and they're all mismatched. And then all of the tables do have some sort of plant or flower and a menu on them. So I thought that looked pretty cute, and I wanted there to be some sort of table clutter on each one of the tables. And yeah, and I liked that they were all mismatched because it goes with the whole mismatched tables and chairs thing that I have going on in this build, which I had so much fun doing. And like I said, it's nothing that I've really done before, which that's been something I've really been trying to do in my most recent builds. I haven't shared all of them yet, but I've been trying to branch out and try new things and just sort of see what else I like to do, because I do feel like I get stuck doing the same old things. But of course, if you like the things that I do, don't worry, I will still do them, but I'm just trying to branch out and learn a few other little things that might be fun to do in builds. So yeah, but this is about coming together. I'm just adding the little table decorations, which are super cute. I really like that little bit of touch, and I had a lot of fun just doing this build in general. I really like building in this area on Whiskerman's Wharf. I've built once before down here by the docks, and that was a retail store, and it didn't end up functioning very well. It looked cool and I had a lot of fun building it, but I definitely want to do more builds that I would definitely use more in my game and have it be a little bit more functional and easier to play in, because I felt like those builds were a little bit too crowded. It was like 3 retail lots in one, and so one was like a bakery ice cream store, and the other one was a pet store, and then the other one was kind of like one of those like junk stores that you would see down by the water that just sells antiques or little knickknacks, and it's just very crowded. So the build ended up being very crowded and kind of hard to play in. So oh well, looks cool anyways, but I definitely want to build more playable ones. And there for a little bit I was thinking about adding some rugs upstairs, but I didn't like the way it looked in the end. And this is the little boxes for the cats that I was talking about, so I did size it down so they ended up floating in the air, so I did size it back up. So it's a little bit crowded and squashed there, but I thought it looked kind of cool, like just old crates of food or whatever that's just been left over there. And thought about adding a fireplace because I do have a chimney, but oh well, we don't necessarily need a fireplace. You can of course add one if you feel like it's necessary, but I decided not to in the end. The chimney was more for looks rather than for there really being like a fireplace. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this build, but we are almost to the screenshots, and I just want to thank you guys so much for watching, and please leave any comments or suggestions that you have, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye!